Hi, please enjoy today's Tech Tuesday. Hold on. Now we are live on YouTube. Here we go. Okay, okay, here we go.
Honey, will you see when they join? They'll show up with a no. Okay, here we go.
Who joins?
So, number one is creating a Venn diagram. It's also teaching you how to make things, shapes, or anything transparent so that if you need to layer things on top of each other, you can see through it. So right now, there are two different colors. You can see that the color in the middle. Right. Now, I'm going to show you, starting from scratch, how to make this and how to not make this. So, when I go into a new slide, this is Google Slides, just like presentation. So, the first thing I need to do is to put, I'm just going to do it. The first thing I'm going to do is put in my circles. Right, I need two circles. So, I'm going to go in to my toolbar on top, where all my tools are, and I'm going to insert a circle. Because right, we all love the circle for that diagram. You can get any shape you want, but I'm going to use a circle. Hello, new face for Tech Tuesday. How you doing? Hi. Nice to see you. So I'm going to put a circle. To put a circle in, I click and hold and drag to make whatever size I want. When I like the size I have, I leave it. And now I want another shape exactly the same. So I'm going to copy and paste. Yep, exactly. I'm going to copy and paste down two gray circles. And look what happens. I cannot see the overlap. So, okay, fine. I'm going to put a color in. Maybe that will work. I'm going to go and put in orange. Nope, yellow. And it still does not work.
Right.
I'm going to write, and I'm going to put it forward, I'm going to turn it backwards, and it's still, I cannot see it. So how do I get this, right now this image is 100% solid. So how would I be able to see through it if I made it a little transparent? If I make it 100% transparent, it's see-through. So if I click on transparent, then it's gone. So what I need to do is I need to choose my color that I want. And I need, I need to make it half transparent. Here's how I do that. I go into my fill. I'm going to go down here. Everyone sees this? I clicked on the fill. I'm going to custom. And inside custom, it keeps my color. And right here, we have yellow to black. And over here, we have yellow to white. So I pull this halfway down about. Don't worry about it. Then it's half transparent, and I click OK, and it would have been more dramatic if I left it here. And here we go. We can see through. Now I'm going to make the other one
Red.
same thing. Red? Okay. I'm going to make it. Great idea. Red. But I'm going to, again, I make it red, and then I go to custom, and I make it half transparent, so it's a little bit muted.
Good.
And how beautiful is that?
Beautiful.
That's it. So that's the idea. I wanted to think about how we could apply this in other ways. Obviously, Venn diagram is the simplest of ways, but maybe, let's say, math quickly. Let's say you have two different sides of triangles, and you want to lay the top triangle on top of the smaller triangle and see through so that kids can measure the difference. So they want to learn, I don't know, a square area. I'm not a math. I'm not a math major. But let's say you want to do something like that. So that's just something how we can use this technology and apply it in other places, and you can all think of other things you would do this. But that's how we take the color, again to review, we make it half transparent, and then you'll be able to see through it like that, which is awesome. Okay, the next thing I want you to realize before I answer your question is these circles are shapes, and all shapes are technically text boxes. So I can click here and start typing, just so you got, so, okay, we have to keep going, so I'm not going to expand, but if anyone thinks this is awesome and wants to learn more, you know where to find me, okay? And you said a question.
I was going to ask if we want to write in them, do we have to put another text?
No, so you can just, when you want to write, you just click and start typing. If you do want, so let's say you want another text box to put somewhere else, maybe a weird spot, then you could add another text box wherever you want. Okay, so also if you want to make it a little nicer, the last step is just to take off, right now there's a border, see the black border? So right next to the fill is the border, and I'm just going to click transparent, and now it's much nicer and cleaner, okay? All right, so you learned a couple new things. You learned how to make the colors transparent for overlapping, and you also learned your toolbar up here, where how to fill things in, and how to change the border color to make it nothing, transparent, or any color you want. And then there's also border thickness if you want it thicker, but that's it. That's the first idea. Second idea.
There we go. So, one of the big things that I would say one of the biggest fears when it comes to Google is something called Google Sheets. As you see, who's afraid of this sheet over here? Right? I must say I gotta credit Danielle for that. But this is true.
This is how I feel when I look at Google Sheets. I feel like a sheet wandering in the universe.
But you know what? But that's what it is. So many people, when they get the Google Sheets, they start panicking. They think of all sorts of formula, and they kind of lock down, and they don't realize that it's a really wonderful tool that is a very basic usage, but obviously there are more advanced features and formulas that you can absolutely apply. But let's just take the very first baby steps, okay? So all I'm going to do is I am going to go to an untitled spreadsheet over here, and I'm just going to make a brand new one because it's just way easier. And so first thing is right, Google Sheets.
Is it in the drive?
Google Sheets is in the drive. Yes.
How it looks?
Don't be afraid. It looks like this little green goblin guy over here.
Okay.
Right? That's what it looks like. So the very first thing is, I'm assuming that everyone here has very basic knowledge, very limited knowledge to Google Sheets. Therefore, I'm going to teach you something that's very important. It sounds elementary, but it's extremely important, especially as you get further and more complex formulas that you can do crazy things in it. These vertical things are called columns. Yeah, columns.
And these are rows.
Okay, and these are
Rows.
excellent.
Yeah.
And then an individual cell. Okay, it's very important.
It's important.
There's a reason I'm telling you this. Okay, because when you create formulas, you have to be very specific, and you want to say that you want to find the average of from, let's say you have a bunch of numbers here, and you have this one here, column, right? You ever play Battleship?
Yeah.
Right? It's like B7 or whatever, 13F.
Right.
Same exact thing. So you have F11, right? F11, and you want to add, let's say F11 plus G11, and you want to see what the sum would be. So that's all that is. Right, but we look at it, we're like, oh, whoa, weird. That's just taking the column and the row, and you're just telling the computer what to do with it. It's so easy. You guys got that. Now, the very first thing is, so I'm going to start with the very top cell over there. I'm going to put in a bunch of gibberish, right? If you notice, wow, there's so much information there. Well, you know what? I want to be able to see all of that. Okay, but the problem is right now it's spilling into column B, into B, and in B I also have a lot of information. So how do I know what's here? I want to expand it. So the way I'd expand this is, you see, I'm going to go right now. I'm a little pointer. See that? And then I turn into, you see that? A little like, I don't know what that's called, like a little arrow type of thing, right? What?
You stretch it.
And then no, I'm not stretching it, because then it's not exact. I'm going to double click, watch this. And then it will expand. So that's right away, that's a wonderful, wonderful tool. Next thing I'm going to show you is, you see here in B, I have so much information. But you know what? It would look so much nicer if it were nice and wrapped, right? If it were wrapped nicely. So the way I can wrap the text is if I go right over here, you see this over here, where it says text wrapping, and I drop down. So I have three options. One is called overflow, which means that, right, that's what it's doing right now. B is overflowing into C, right? That might be good, but if I have information in C, that's not good, right? So another thing is I could say, you know what, just clip it, meaning, see, cut it. The information's still there, but I can't see all the information. Or I could just wrap the text. See that? Now it's a little bit nicer, and you know, it's a little bit easier to read.
And if you do enter on it, it will do the same.
No, enter, we'll just go down to the bottom and enter. It just goes down to the next cell.
So it did the same thing.
No, it's not doing anything.
No, enter in the W.
Ah, put it here, one, two, three. And then we
Okay.
enter.
Okay.
See? Okay. Then the next thing I want to show you is how many times have you ever had a what do you call a sheet, and inside your sheet you have different types of, let's say you have name of student, then you have, let's say, street, and then you have, let's say, grade, and then you have a whole bunch of things, right? We're gonna make this
Parents.
right, parents, this, that, and I'm gonna just highlight it so you can see it, okay? But the problem is, as we start going down, we're like, wait, which one was the grade? Which one was this? Which one was that assignment? We just kind of get like this,
Confused.
right? So, how do we freeze this? We want to hold it. So what we do is we're going to highlight it. We're going to select everything, right? Actually, sorry, scratch it. You don't have to do that. I was thinking in my Excel brain. This is Google Sheets. You just go to View. And in your view, you want to say, I want to view this entire sheet, and I want to freeze just the first row. So watch what happens when I freeze the first row. Sorry. There we go. Look at that. So that sticks. You could do the same thing, by the way, if you notice. Let's go back to the view and freeze.
It's not instead of the ABC.
Right? Sorry?
It's not instead of the ABC.
It's your header.
Number
It's your,
one has to be
it's your header
a student
column.
or something, no?
Right. Well, it's whatever you make it. It's whatever you make it. Right? But let's say I had all my student names over here.
Right.
And I had a bunch of assignments over here. Okay? Or think of using a Google form. In a Google form, every Google form is connected to a Google Sheet. Most people skip the sheet because they're like, they see that, you know, that little ghost and like, ah, you know, sheets, I'm scared. You don't have to be scared, because if you understand this, you can actually, might be easier. Think of if you have a lot of student feedback that's written, it's typed, right? They have little small short sentences or paragraphs. So that might be easier to read. Kind of you go down the class in a sheet, in a Google Sheet, as opposed to a Google Form.
Well, that's how you read the responses.
Right.
The sheets.
Correct. But the thing is that how do you remember which student it is, or how do you know, how do you kind of freeze the information? So let's say that as I move down the sheet,
Now I understand.
right, I still want to be able to see that this, which student is, not guess like, oh, is it S, or we up to something, or Seton, or, right? So what we can do is we can just freeze the first column. Yeah? Okay? And I'm going to show you one more hack.
You're saying you could name? Is this
You
where
can
it has
Yeah.
to
right,
scroll across?
exactly, yes. So I just froze the first row, but you could also freeze the first column.
So
That's
you have to
why
highlight it as well?
you don't. That's an Excel thing. Yeah, that's why I was thinking that initially. But sometimes, like tomato, it's okay. It all works. One more thing. See, another thing, as I was saying before, when we started with the sheets, all I was thinking about numbers and this and all sorts of calculations and formula. But really, how about, what if this were used for science, or students were doing different research, and this were to be a way that students could organize their research, right? It doesn't only have to be formula, right? It doesn't have to be data or numbers. So that might be a really nice way to kind of organize the students.
In reading, it's very good. In reading, to know what letters they don't know, what vowels.
Oh, absolutely, right? But that's for you. But let's also, part of this is the collaboration, not just how we can use it as teachers, but how can the students use it, even the little guys. right? They could also use this as well, right? This is a wonderful place to organize information, right? And categorize things. They could categorize it in a sheet. It's easier than a doc, really. Because in a doc, they have to start, putting in different, columns and different whatever. This is all about columns. That's what it is. Great?
Yep.
Okay, beautiful.
How do I?
Yeah.
Wait, so why would students put